Hey everybody, welcome back to Top 10 Gaming, the channel where we give you lists, news, and updates on all things gaming, along with a ton of gaming-themed creepypastas, and a ton of this gem in particular, Roblox stories. I'm your host Kelly Pally, and we're back at it again with the Top 10 Scary Roblox Stories Part 2. Now, disclaimer here friends, many of these are not scary, many of them are downright comical, but major kudos to all of you out there who work your butts off and craft these things. So take these criticisms and jokes with a grain of salt, because hey, at the end of the day, we're just a gaming channel, standing in front of a green screen, trying to entertain you. Now let's get hella spooky, bitches. And at number 10, the ODER. This Roblox story is about some creepy as girl with bulging eyes called Jenna, who keeps being terrifying and stalking guys hardcore. So it starts off with a prologue with this weird Jenna girl dating a dude named Jamal and then being super creepy with him and his friends. Then after the opening credits, we see a different group of kids, one of which is a fellow named Z who ends up being stalked hardcore by Jenna. After a weekend of camping, Z gets sucked into Jenna's lure and she ends up following him everywhere, from server to server on Roblox, because this one's a little bit meta. Turns out that this Jenna character has been going around stalking people, forcing them to quit Roblox because of it. So Z and his friend Pan lure her to the school's pool, where she chases them like a shark in the water. After they exit the pool, things get crazier and Jenna grows in size and height and her face becomes all hideous, and it kinda feels like we're playing Outlast 2. Or rather, watching it. Then they all start shouting, "The power of Roblox compels you," and Jenna disappears, and that is it. Up next, number 9, Whaatt Man. This is Whaatt Man. We get an 18-year-old kid who is contemplating why on earth he sees ghosts and why he's seen them since he was 8. He starts off his tale with his grandma's death and how he cried about it lots, which is like, totally fair reaction to have. But then he goes on to say that he was crying because he saw his grandmother inside of her house after she had died, so she's a ghost, so spooky. After that, he saw a dude out in his yard who was wearing entirely white minus his shoes. It's another ghost! His mother reassured him that he was a good ghost, which is not the kind of thing that your mom should be encouraging if you think about it, just saying. Anywho, this kid continues to see a ton of ghosts and is super traumatized by it for the entirety of his childhood. And then one ghost tries to tell him something, but that gets cut off, and that is... it's it. That's where it ends, people. Structure, friends. We need more structure in our stories. And at number 8, babysitting stories. Yay. This one tells of a babysitter who narrates the story and is looking after this little shitty kid named Matthew. Around midnight, after Matthew has gone to bed, the narrator hears knocking at the front door. Deciding to ignore it, he continues to watch his movie until screams start coming from behind the door, and it sounds like a group of men are outside, begging him to let them in. The narrator looks through the peephole and sees this terrifying face looking back at him, so naturally he calls the cops. The police do a grade A job and tell him that because of the weather, it might take a while for an officer to get there. They tell him to go hide with Matthew. Great resolution. So the narrator hangs up and listens for more knocking, but hears none. He looks outside the front windows and sees that nobody is outside. Then glass shatters in a few of the rooms, and it's clear that someone has broken into the house. The narrator runs upstairs, grabs Matthew, and then hides in the kid's toy closet. They hear the intruders coming up the stairs and into Matthew's room. Then they hear sirens outside, and one of the intruders murmurs, "Oh shit." So what happens next? What's the dramatic climax to the story? The intruders leave. They run out the back door, and the police show up, and then they arrest him. And that is it. Where is the scary? I was promised scary. And at number 7, prank call. This one is about some dude and his best friend Jake. The two of them decide to make a prank call on September 3rd of 2015, which feels like it's unnecessarily specific, but whatever. Midway through describing all of the failed prank calls that they tried to make, which is actually like super pathetic, the narrator also throws in that prank calling was their favorite activity to do together. Yay! And with this particular phone call, they end up not pranking the girl who answers, and they make friends with her, which is confusing because clearly this author of the story doesn't understand how prank calls work. This mystery girl starts calling him and Jake, and then she gets hella clingy, saying that she wants to come over to their houses. Jake then shows up in his room and is like, "Yo, the place that the mystery girl is from is the same place that this girl on the news was raped and killed at." And then he gets a call and it's the mystery girl and she's like, "Wait for me on September 8th, my friend," and they're all freaked out and stuff. September 8th rolls around and then the girl shows up, walks straight into his bedroom and is like, "Surprise, surprise, I'm a ghost." But my favorite part about this story is that at its very end, it says, "This is a true story." And at number 6, wrong house. This story starts off with a shot of a girl lying on a bed underneath a Five Nights at Freddy's poster, so you know it's about to get real spooky. Some chick named Trixie goes over to some other almost identical looking chick's house named Sam. Sam's like, "I'ma get you a glass of water," and also never invites her inside. They just like sit in a park on a swing. She disappears for hours and then returns back at night, and Trixie is like, "Alright, I guess I'll wait for you on this swing set outside for like ever." Eventually she's like, "Screw this, I'm gonna go inside and see what Sam is doing," and turns out she's not even at Sam's house. Which, like, you think she would know that. That's when Sam calls her and it's like, "Yo, where are you? My mom made dinner, what the fuck, dude?" And then we cut back to Trixie getting a knife thrown at her from this weird imposter Sam. I'm sorry, but did Trixie think Sam lived in a playground? Just wanna come back to that point and be like, what the hell? And at number 5, The Voice of House. Good grammar. This one is an equally absurd horror story that centers around a house. Surprise, surprise. The Voice of House, which is already grammatically incorrect, is about a girl who's waiting for her mom to let her inside. And turns out her mom isn't home. But she thought she was, and I guess it's hot outside? Anyway, apparently this girl keeps hearing weird shit since they moved into this house. This includes hearing noises of cats crying that sound like babies, and neighborhood kids who also sound like babies. So our protagonist girl starts to freak out because she realized that there's no way she could have heard all those noises for real since dun 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 her window was closed. When she tells her family, they're all like, "Nah, you trippin'." And she continues to panic and stuff about ghosts and the house being haunted. Then there's a news report that's like, "Yo, there's an unsolved murder case going on." Anywho, the main girl ends up getting killed by the murderer whose name is XX Dong. Creative. And that all ties into the weird noises that she was hearing, and it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense even though the author is really adamant about it totally making sense in the comments. Moving on. And at number 4, Truth or Dare. A group of kids have a house party on a rainy night. Everybody starts dancing and getting crunk, or at least one would presume. I guess they're getting crunk, I don't know. A few hours in the party, a stranger shows up and our party thrower Lana answers the door. The stranger, who straight up looks like Colonel Sanders mixed with a pedophile, is all like, "Hey, I'm new around here and I saw the party, can I join?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure dude," even though he's clearly at least twice her age and probably a pedophile. Anywho, Predator guy comes in and asks the kids if they want to play Truth or Dare. He starts asking them what their worst fears are. And then when he gets asked Truth or Dare, the stranger gets all weird and gets all like it follows on their asses and tells them that they will die if they don't do this dare, and then runs out of the house and is never seen again. A magical disembodied voice then starts daring everybody to do stuff. Like dance with each other, ooh, big dare. And then they all start dying because they don't want to dance with each other and do other really mundane prude shit. But I guess it's like kind of a big deal if you're like 7 and writing the story. Anywho, all start dying and the first one to go is some chick named Nicole who gets possessed and then kills herself by jumping off of a balcony. It ends on a "to be continued." Please don't. And at number 3, Night Gaming. This one follows 3 friends making a gaming video for their gaming channel. So meta. After about 2 minutes of nothing substantial happening, a weird pale woman in a red dress who looks demonic appears in the webcam and slides through the room. Thinking nothing of it, they continue to do tests on their computer. They test the audio and what their playback is like, and then when they play back, it isn't their voices, but instead it's an eerie voice that's like, "Hello kids, wanna play with me?" Creepy. Power goes out, they all become total chickens, and the kid whose house it is gets super whiny, and he's like, "Guys, can you come upstairs with me? Guys, can you all sleep here tonight so I'm not all alone and scared?" And after they take a look at the video that they made, they realize that it's corrupted. And that's when Mr. Superstar Whiny Pants over here is like, "Oh yeah, by the way, my mom said a woman killed herself in my room before we moved in, and that it was all because her husband was cheating on her." And his friends are like, "Dude, we're scared. Why the hell did you not say anything before now about the woman who got killed in your bedroom when we started seeing ghosts and shit?" They all sit in silence and it cuts to a shot of Whiny Pants being all like, "Thanks for coming over guys, come back soon," and everyone's like, "Ha ha ha, yeah, totally," which, As they walk away, they see a ghost in the window who is barely visible if the camera wasn't zooming in. Spooky. And at number 2, Sleepover Episode 1. You can bet your ass that we aren't watching Episode 2. Oh look, it's 2 campers camping in the woods. Bet they're gonna be attacked by a ghost there or a monster cause it's almost nighttime. One of them decides, "Oh hey, I'ma fall off this cliff. And rather than straight up dying, considering it's super high and that probably would make the most logical sense, he just injures his arm instead. So nighttime rolls around and dude is bleeding out and he's still not dead yet, and that's when he hears a crack in the distance. And who's there but some militia-looking Slenderman wannabe, who shoots the injured dude in the head. His camper pal shows up and is like, "Oh, I finally just got down the mountain, what's going on?" and sees that this militia creepy dude is right there, who then pistol whips the camper guy. Then there's a cut to some happy dance music and we're with this kid named Anita and like completely out of the forest. Her parents are going away and the parents like screw off, and then Anita goes back into her house and is like, "Hey friends who've been hiding at my house, come on out, let's party." Then some next dude shows up and everyone's like, "Damn, I want a piece of that." Literally they say that in this. And Anita is like, "Oh, that's just my neighbor." 11 p.m. rolls around and everyone is presumably getting crunk for the sleepover and the friends are complaining about having to sleep on the floor. So Anita's just like, "Sleep on my bed, teehee." They eat a bunch of snacks and then watch a scary movie, and by 2 a.m. they're all asleep except for some chick named Kiki, who then starts freaking out about seeing the hot neighbor next door burying a body. That's where it ends. That's it. To be continued. And then there's an ad for Roblox clothes at the end of it and I'm like, great. I just personally wasted 5 minutes of my life. Moving on. Finally, number 1. It's called The Beautiful. This one starts off with a long cinematic shot showing off a big ol' mansion and it's excessive as which almost makes the cutting to the dialogue on the screen like super comical. Anywho, it's about a dude in a suit named Luke who finds out that his wife, who is I'm just assuming she's his wife, she's pregnant. Luke and Luke's maybe wife are super jazzed. Then we cut to 9 months later, Luke's wife has given birth to a baby. But it's not just any old baby. Oh no. As the intense score signals, it's a baby with crossed eyes and an uncomfortable look on its face. Oh no! We then jump to 3 years later and Luke and his maybe wife are being bullied by some jerk-offs about how ugly their kid is. This prompts Luke to go on a rant that night saying, I don't understand. We are both so good looking, but why does our son look like a monster? Good job dadding, Dad. So Luke and his maybe wife come up with a plan to get rid of their ugly kid. What does that plan entail? Going on a trip and pushing their son off a cliff while he takes a piss, while literally shouting, "Die you monster." Yep. They then call the cops, pretend it was an accident, and the cops don't even bat an eye at it being anywhere suspicious, which it clearly is. 2 years later, the couple have another baby who turns out to be normal. Then that kid grows up. We then flash forward to them all taking a road trip, and when their daughter goes off to pee off the side of a cliff, she says, "Don't push me off that cliff again, mommy. I love you." And that's where it ends. That's where it ends. It's not even. There we have it, friends. Roblox. Scary stories that aren't really scary, that I just took the piss out of. Did they scare you? Did you soil yourself? Are you afraid of the digital dark? Kill me now! Did you enjoy me being an asshole today? Let us know in those comments below. And maybe go watch something else on our channel and subscribe because, hey, we have some decent lists on here that are worth your time. Thanks for watching and bless your soul for doing so. Bye!